Alright guys, we're out here at Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're checking out a 2011 Ford Flex with a 3.5 liter GTDI engine in it. And what he has is a surging issue where it feels like it's a misfire, and a couple other performance-based issues on it. So the first thing you do is pull codes on it, check for misfires. No misfires at all on the Mode 6 data. I didn't drive it yet. Then I pulled codes for it, and it has a code for a P0299, which is underboost, and it's the general underboost code. It can come from either bank. It's always watching the amount of boost on there, and it has a minimum and a maximum threshold on there. So I got that, and that's interesting in itself. The turbos can stick on these, and the wastegates, they have problems with those, but that's more common on the F-150s. So I'll show you what I found on here. It's basically a F-up, I guess you could say, from the Ford dealer that worked on it recently. But it's an easy fix, so we're going to take care of it today. Alright, so the first thing I did is I opened the hood and I pulled the engine appearance cover off so that I can do a visual inspection of all the lines and the CAC tubing and the air intake, all that kind of stuff. You want to do a visual inspection, make sure connectors are connected for the blow-off valves and stuff like that. So I did it, and we'll go over it real quick here. So we're checking the cold air intake tubing here. And you're making sure all the connections are on there. I mean, all the connections, even the snap to connect type stuff, the little vacuum lines are the boost lines for the pressure sensing. Just you want to make sure everything's intact on here. So I'm going through, checking everything, we're good. All right, so back here, I started inspecting all the lines that are on here also. There's a lot of different lines on the boosted engines on here for all the extra tubing. And then went back down into here. All right, Alex. And this is the boost coming out of this rear turbo on here. It comes up and it gets cooled and then goes over and eventually ends up here to go into the intake here. So what I found back here, hopefully you can see everything, is you can see right here the whole section of the hose there has come off. Either they put it on wrong or they put the clamp on loose or something and it slipped off of there. Either way, it's losing a lot of boost out of there. So what happens is the PCM is constantly controlling the amount of boost and watching the amount of boost, and it's seeing that boost loss on there, so it's constantly adjusting the valves on there, the boost, the blow-off valves on there. Therefore, just like on the diesels and the 6.0, stuff like that, you start messing with the turbo and the amount of boost it makes, you're going to feel that surging to it, and that can feel like a misfire on there. So, like I said, it's a very easy fix, but it's definitely, I guess, a screw-up by the dealer. You're just trying to get the valve cover and the PCV oil separator changed out on there to the new design that separates the oil better, and they misconnected that, I guess you could say, on there. So we're going to take care of that real quick, and that should take care of, I'd say, 90% of its problems on there. Alright guys, so it just goes to show that if you're taking it in to get something serviced at the dealer, doesn't always mean everything goes back together, especially in the Ecoboost engines. They're a little more complicated. There's a lot of lines and tubing inside of there to, be taken off to do just about anything on there. Therefore, everything has to go back together, and the Ecoboost not necessarily is the most popular engine out there, so it's the most common that they see, and they're used to, well, I got 5 connections, I pulled this tube off of there type deal. So it doesn't hurt to check over the work that was done in your vehicles pretty much. So hopefully with that back on there, the memory cleared, he can drive on and the surging issues will be gone. He'll know. He does have an ESP, but he thought it was something that they couldn't really figure out, so we took a look at it, and sure enough we found something. So it's better than not doing anything at all and going, I don't know. So that's great, successful.